Hello, my name is Adine and behind the camera is Melinda. We are known as Hustlin' Hooks here and on Instagram. If you have not followed us there, go ahead and do so. We give you daily tips and tricks. In this video, we're going to talk about all the stuff that sold behind me. We're also going to go through the numbers to tell you exactly how much profit we make. That's after tax, after all the fees and all the charges. And we're going to share with you some items that didn't sell because that's really important in our business model to get things moving when they're not moving or to get rid of them if they're just not selling after an X amount of time. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to go quickly through the items that didn't sell for us that have been sitting in our store for quite a while, basically about a year. And the reason why we want to pull these items is because we don't want them just to sit around and occupy both mental and physical space. And their prices have been reduced to the point where if we reduce them any further, there's just not enough profit to be made for us to really spend the time packaging them and selling them. So the first one, these are just Daytona 500, like from the 90s magazines and patches. We got them in a bulk buy. We had them listed for like 15 bucks free ship, but again, they've been just sitting there. Nobody wants them, so it's time to donate them or maybe even put them in a big box and sell it off locally as a reseller box or something. So we don't know 100% what we'll do with it yet, but it's out of our inventory. Next up, this is just a picture of Saints. We got this for free. We had it listed for like 12, 13 bucks free shipping. It didn't move, so now it's gone. A handheld video game. This is missing the back battery cover. We got this for like a quarter in that hoarder house. It's just not selling, so now it's gone. This is a pretty sweet, like vintage type button-up shirt with a bunch of like animal prints on it. Again, the brand wasn't there. It's just inexperience, right? This is early us thrifting and picking things up. It didn't move. We had it listed for like 18 bucks free ship. It's gone. Finally, this Corey. This is just a big percolator. We sold similar percolators, different brands, and those sold really well for us. This brand, this style just didn't. And again, it's been sitting for about a year. We're about $5 into it. We'll just donate it or try to sell it locally and just move on. And finally, these are just crystal candle holders. Again, we're trying to move away from glass anyways. Melinda picked these up for like 25 cents each or 25 cents for both of them at a church sale like a year ago. They didn't move. We had them listed for 20 free shipping, and again, it's just not worth it. And finally, behind me, I picked up a bunch of these platform heel shoes. The brands are just not good. These are like probably like 30 bucks retail. I picked them up because a lady that I bought something else from, I saw her packing stuff up in her car, and she said she's also an eBay seller, and these just weren't moving for her. So she was just going to give them away. I offered her 20 bucks and we made about $180 to $250 in gross sales off of that big lot. And this is way early in our adventure of reselling, like month 2, maybe even the first month. So we have like 77 cents into each pair. These are 3 that I'm pulling. We have another 3 or 4 pair that I just haven't pulled out of the bins in the basement. We're going to get rid of those as well, just redonate them, or again, maybe just bulk them up on a local deal. The reason why these aren't selling, the brands aren't great, the styles aren't great, they're just not in demand, because if you can get something for $25 to $30 brand new in like a Payless shoe store, then you're probably not going to pay $20, $30 online to get the same thing in used condition. So that's the last piece. Again, you have to do something with your aging inventory. It's just going to sit there. It's not going to sell. And we noticed too that the majority of our sales are of things that we recently listed. And that's because we've become much better at this game. We're not new to it anymore like we were when we picked this random stuff up. So anyhow, just wanted to show that to you. I'm going to get this stuff out of here. Melinda's going to come on the camera next and show you the fun stuff, the stuff that actually sold.
So first I'm going to cover the shoes. These were all an average of $6 at our local Goodwills. These ones are Nike Stefan Janoski. I've never heard of him, but I'm assuming he's a skateboarder because these are considered skate shoes by Nike. And these sold for $45 and they're very light. So they're not going to be more than, well, all of these are not going to be more than $8 to $10 to ship. These were a pretty sweet find. These are Nike ACGs and they are like new. There's a little bit of wear on the bottom, but inside super clean, no marks. The thing about these is that they are actually a youth size. Now we've sold youth shoes before, and right in the title, I go on to whatever shoe brand it is and I go to their sizing charts and I look and see what the youth size equates to in a women's. The bigger youth sizes, like the big kid youths, like these are 6. So this is between a 7 and a 7.5 women's. And I actually screenshotted the Nike size chart right from their website, and I included that as a photo in our listing so that they could compare for themselves. They didn't just have to take my word for it. So these sold fairly quickly within a few days of listing them for $55. These are just a nice, trendy, really cute pair of Columbia boots. Nice design, very clean. These, someone offered us $30 on Posh, which means that they pay shipping, and we took that. And the last ones are these Merrells. Pretty basic, just everyday shoes, good tread. These sold for $40. We also sold some vintage electronics, which we love to do. This is the West Bend high performance food processor. We've actually sold this exact set a couple different times, and we choose to sell this one all together simply because it sells well and it usually sells pretty quickly. This one we sold for $55. I picked it up for $8 on a trip on my lunch. It was just sitting on top of a new rack that had come out and I could see it across. So I just beelined over there and quick picked it up, put it in my cart. We also sold this Oster Regency. It's just this base motor part. If you follow us on Instagram, you know that Adine picked this up. It was the full set of everything off of a Facebook marketplace. We've also sold this a few times as well. We choose to part them out. It's better for shipping. It tends to not sit as long as it does for the full set. We have sold the full set once. It just moves quicker when it's in parts. A question that we get sometimes is how clean is clean enough? We try to get everything as clean as possible. But look, this is a vintage machine. They don't make these anymore. You're not going to find them. When it gets down to the detailing, if it becomes too time intense to get out the gunk, we will leave it and we will disclose it. You can see it in the photos. No food parts go here. No one's going to be eating anything that is sitting on this. So it's not a safety concern, and they can always spend their time to detail clean it even more. We are looking for a good per hour range, and it's still sold. So this piece, after parting it out, we allocated about $4 into this piece, and it sold for $55. And then also, you know, we love to sell vintage things with their box. We found this for $10 on Facebook Marketplace with the box. Obviously, it's not brand new, but it still has the original packaging in there with the box, very clean. This Visions sells really well even without the box. With the box, we sold this for $85, and we are very happy with that. Adine's going to be back, and he's going to go over some more sales.
I'm going to cover most of the clothing that's sold. These Arctics snow pants sold. They're brand new with tags. Not a great pickup. I paid $15 for them at Goodwill. They only sold for $30 on Poshmark. They pay for shipping. So, you know, it's not great. It's like a $10, $12 profit, but it is what it is. We'll move on. The next one is just a simple Nike, really, I think it's a XXL pullover hoodie. Just bread and butter, nothing crazy. It sold for $33 on Poshmark, paid $5 for it. Here's another great jeans brand. I know a couple of you have asked us to dedicate a video just to jeans, and we will. We'll get that video to you. This is Salvage by Buckle. There's the actual tag on the front and back. You can just kind of see the style of these jeans. Like when we look through jeans, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for these like distressed, acid washed type jeans. Paid $5, and these sold for $35 on Poshmark as well. And again, they pay for shipping. Next up, another Nike piece. This is just a Nike's running woman's top. Picked it up for $5, sold for $30 with free shipping. This is lightweight. It'll cost no more than $4 to ship this. And then this is nothing fancy. This is just 7 for All Mankind men's relaxed fit jeans, straight leg. They're just normal, you know, they're my style, right? They're dad jeans. They're not flashy or anything. Paid $5, and these sold for $36 with free shipping. Again, they'll ship for $6.94, as Melinda says, out the door. This little mouse apple thing sold. It's after the party, mouse and apple. We don't usually sell this kind of stuff, but when I was doing a bulk deal, I was offered 6 of these for $20, and I took it because they're worth about 20 each. This one sold for $25 with free shipping. I think it's going to be right on that border of first class or maybe priority. I'm not really sure yet, but it's gone, and it actually sold much faster than I thought it would. It's roughly 2 p.m. on Sunday. We're going to go ahead and package all of this stuff up while our kid is napping. Once we're done packaging, we'll pull up the next round, and then later tonight we'll conclude this video. So we'll see you then.
So here's that vision wear in the box. The main priority, remember, is to keep it from rattling, and if it does drop, give it some paddings on the side here. So here's the materials that we have. We have styrofoam. We have the inner workings of our brown paper that it ran out. You smush them down and it creates a barrier there. And then egg cartons and a little bit of brown paper. Kind of a hodgepodge with this one, but we're very confident it's gonna get there. And this is that West Bend mixture. We've bubble wrapped it, so if it drops, it'll be secure. And then we're filling in all the void space again, just with brown packing paper. So it'll be nice and tight in there. As far as our boxes, we are still running off of the supply when I put up a community board post asking for neighbors to give us their holiday boxes. And I'm still getting those messages, and I'm fielding them off at this point. We are at capacity, but we have paid $0 for these boxes, and we have so many different sizes right now. Hopefully that helps you guys with packing. We get that question a lot. Welcome back, everybody. It's now about 7:30, and we're gonna go through the rest of our what sold over the weekend. We sold another pair of shoes in between before and now. These are Brooks. It's a good brand if you can get them in good condition. You always want to check them out because Brooks is a well-loved brand by runners. So a lot of the times the treads are worn down. These ones are still good, and there weren't any holes in the back here or anywhere. These are the Ghost 6. So it's a little bit earlier model. They still sold for $40. We also sold this tiny Briar horse. This is a minier version of the ones we've sold in the past. This was also with that bulk lot that we got. She threw this one in. It worked out to be about $7 per horse. This is the last one in that bulk buy. It sold for $18. Not a huge profit, but we've already made our money back plus the profit. So this is sort of just an extra sale. So this is a Ronco rotisserie front cover. It's just the cover. We have the whole machine. It was complete, but it was real dirty, and we just did not want to mess with cleaning it all out. So we parted it out instead. Easier to clean, easier to ship. We didn't have to deal with the parts we didn't want to. We have about $1.50 into just this one piece, and this sold for $25. Then we have this small all clad. It is very clean on the inside, stainless. This outside is more of that ionized metal. And as you can see, it's really tough to get this stuff super shiny clean. So we just sold it as is, and it was disclosed in the listing. It still sold for $40, and we got this at Goodwill for $3. So we still have a healthy profit on that. So all clad here is at the base of the handle. That's where you're generally gonna find where it says all clad. Another pots and pans. This is from a big bulk buy that we did with Amway pots and pans. This, I'm gonna take it apart and show you. This has a lot of pieces to this one set. So it has this dome lid, regular lid. This sits in the pan, and it's like a grater if you wanted to grate cheese, whatever people grate into their food. Has this insert double boiler, and it has the strainer, and then of course the regular pot, which is 8 quarts, so big size. This beauty, we allocated $10 from that bulk buy to it, and it sold for $180. That's great. And again, it's pots and pans. We actually didn't know about iCook as a division of Amway until we bought that lot. And we contacted her and said, well, we thought this was all Amway. And she actually explained to us that iCook is a division of Amway. And it turns out they actually sell for super high retail as well, maybe even higher than some of the Amway sets. So that was great. And we got to learn something. I went on their website to determine what the retail price was on these because there weren't a lot of comps for them on eBay. The only thing we could find was just the strainer by itself. And that was selling for $50 just by itself. So because we had all the pieces, I priced it, and I like to go high because once you sell it, you can't ask for more money. So I threw the 180 on there based on their really high retail prices and the fact that it was the only one on eBay. And it sold. So don't be afraid to price up because you can always lower it as time goes on. Another big hitter was this Vitamix. This is a heavy duty blender, like commercial grade. Adine scooped this up off Facebook Marketplace. He paid $85 for it, and we sold it for $215. Even after shipping, it's going to be heavy, but we should still clear at least a $75 to $80 profit with just this machine. So don't be afraid to pay up for stuff. And it sold relatively quickly too. We had not even inventoried this yet. It probably sells well all year, but it is January, so people are thinking about healthy eating and trying to change their habits coming into the new year. So anything we had that was like healthy related or fitness related, we tried to get up right away because now is the time where people are specifically looking for that. And then our last big hitter were these Encyclopedia Britannicas. There are, was it 35?
So it's 23 volumes plus the index and 7 annual books. So I think
So 31.
31 books.
So 31 of these bad boys. So just one of these books is quite a bit. This one, which isn't even the fattest book, is over almost 4 pounds just for this one book. They are books. They ship media mail, but if you didn't know this, because you've never shipped anything heavier like this, media mail has a limit of 70 pounds. This is probably going to be over 150 pounds, which means we are going to break this into 2, but probably 3 separate boxes and ship them separately with 3 separate labels on them to break it down. And it'll still be about $50 to ship everything, but we sold all of these for $250 and we only paid $15 for them all. So happy to pay that. We're gonna go ahead and get all of these packed up. It's still early. If any sales come in between now and then, we might jump on and include those as well. Otherwise, we'll be back next with the numbers.
So as predicted, one more sale did come through. It was this Columbia 3-in-1 puffer jacket, winter jacket. Really just excellent condition. I found it at Goodwill for $15 and it just sold for $60 with free shipping. We'll try our best to fit into something, but it'll probably cost about $9 to ship. I also wanted to mention this little guy here. We forgot to ship this. This was part of a 2-piece set. It was the house, the pub for Department 56, plus these little buddies. We didn't ship them. It was already delivered. The customer didn't say anything about it, but we know it's wrong for us to just hold on to this until they say something. So we're going to ship it to them, our expense. It's first class. We'll bubble wrap it, put it in a poly mailer. It will cost about $3 to ship. But it's important, to double check that. It's also important to make sure that you do right by your customers. So as you can see behind me, we're done packing all the big stuff. Monda's going to come on here next. She's going to go through line by line all of the numbers that we did this weekend.
Okay, I have my fancy corporate style notes, professionally done. Let me go over them with you. So our gross sales over 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, were $1,367. Our cost of goods for everything that we just showed you and packed up was $226. Shipping cost us $238. Fees were $150. And then our taxes were about $188. That leaves us with a net of $565 for just 3 days. That's great. We do like it usually to be a little bit higher, but we'll take that. We'll take that every weekend, every day. We also actually just sold a Belgian waffle maker. It's an all-clad for $150. And we didn't originally include it. It came in while we were doing the numbers, but they took an offer and they hadn't paid. So we're like, well, we'll just give you the numbers we did. Now they paid, but that brings our gross to about $1,500. We're not going to go through the other numbers. So give or take, maybe we netted like a little over 600 then. Let's say that. And all the other fees would just be a little bit higher as well.
Okay, so a couple things we learned. One, we learned that if we package and do part of this video earlier in the day, it makes our evenings not so horrible because, you know, if you've seen a few of these, we usually are packing until midnight. There was that surge where we had like 40 shipments and we're packing until 2 a.m. Now it's like 9 o'clock. We can just kind of relax. We will package up that waffle maker, get that shipped out. The other thing that I learned about these books, I estimated roughly $50 in total shipping for them, but because we had to do 2 shipments, it ended up being $77.
$77.
$77?
$77, yeah.
Yeah, $77 to ship all those books. I priced in $50, but again, because our buy cost was only $15, it's still plenty of profit to be made. So really happy with that.
Yeah, and another thing that I'll say about the numbers, as I mentioned, we like to see them a little bit higher, but when we divide that over the 3 days, we are still well on track to sell that 120,000 gross that we are aiming for off of eBay by the end of this year. So when we have a mediocre, a middle, or a poor weekend, in our opinion, we are still looking at that long-term average, and we're looking at our long-term results of the average of 10,000 a month.
Yeah, and I think I don't think this one was like a horrible weekend. I think this is a pretty standard one.
It felt slower.
It felt slower, but we had these huge, like, big, you know, we had a $150 sale, we had a $180 sale, we had a $250 sale, $215 sale.
$150.
Yeah, so we had a lot of these big, chunky ones.
I take it back.
Yeah. But the nice thing is, like, what I said to Mona earlier was that it would have been great if we had like 10 sales today and 3 of those were like the $200 ones. Then it would feel really great. But regardless of feelings, the numbers check out. So, hey-o.
Yeah, that'll do it for us. We hope you enjoyed another What Sold This Weekend video from us. And we look forward to seeing you on our next video. Till then, have a good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.